Hello students, welcome to a lesson through the virtual training center of the Brihan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika. My name is Shraddha teacher, and in this lockdown period, since we are not able to go to school, children, we will be doing many lessons here online through the virtual class. So come on, let's proceed to our lesson for today.
So children, our lesson for today will be a lesson in standard 9th English, and it is a lesson which is related to the environment, and it is the story of sea turtles. Okay, the name of our lesson for today is The True Story of Sea Turtles. So it is a story, but it is also based on true events. So we are going to learn something about these animals, that is the sea turtles, which are now becoming extinct. Okay, so they are an endangered species. So this lesson is not only a lesson in English, but also it is related to something to do with environmental studies and science also. So let us start by understanding what is the meaning of endangered species of animals. So there are certain animals, children, which are on the verge of extinction. Okay, so now I have explained one difficult concept with another difficult concept. If you're feeling, I will make it easy, don't worry. So there are some animals, like I told you, which are on the verge of extinction. So what is extinction? So a species of animals or plants that is seriously at a risk of extinction. These kind of birds or animals or plants are called as endangered. Okay, so now what is this meaning of extinction? So see, all these animals which you can see here, these are all extinct animals. So which are the animals? Let's see. So we have the dinosaur, we have the saber-toothed cat, the dodo, the woolly mammoth, the Tasmanian tiger, the golden toad, and many, many more animals you can add to this list, which are extinct today. So they are extinct means you cannot see them anymore on the planet Earth. So they have their particular species, they have become, they have been completely destroyed. Now, destroyed because of human beings or destroyed because of certain natural causes, that we will have to study in each case. Okay, but at a particular stage, these animals which are extinct today had also become endangered. All right. So, in case we would have tried to protect them when they were endangered, they would not have become extinct. So, endangered means what? That they are in the danger of becoming extinct. If you do not take care of them, if you do not prevent them from dying, they will very soon become extinct and you will not be able to see them on this earth at all. Just like you're not able to see dinosaurs, just like you're not able to see the passenger pigeon or the ground sloth. Okay, now these are not the only animals which are extinct. Like I told you, children, there are many, many more animals which are extinct. So what you can do is you can go on to the net, you can search on Google and try to find out some more animals which have become extinct. Okay, so now let us look at some endangered species as of today. So see, this is the giant panda. So it's a beautiful creature. It looks like a teddy bear. When you see a panda walking, when you see a panda sitting, you will really feel that it is a live teddy bear. These pandas, they are endangered. They are in the list of endangered species. That is, if you do not take care of them, if you do not take care of their numbers, okay, if you do not protect them, they will very soon vanish. All right. There is one more species of animal. This is the Komodo dragon. It is found near the Komodo Islands. All right. That is why its name is the Komodo dragon. This particular animal also, children, very soon, if you do not take care of it, it will become extinct. That means it is endangered. All right. Can you see? It's such a beautiful, big sized monitor lizard, the Komodo dragon. Then you have one more bird. See, this is the golden eagle. This is also an endangered species, children. Very soon on the verge of extinction if we do not take care of them. So now all these animals, they are endangered. What is the reason? What do you think? Why do these animals become endangered? Why do these animals become extinct? It happens because of various reasons. One of the reasons, which is man made, is cutting down of forests. Now, there are certain reasons which are not in our hands. For example, they say that the dinosaurs became endangered because of asteroid strike on the earth. So, there are asteroids which are small heavenly bodies which move around, and sometimes they come and hit the earth. So, when such asteroid strikes happen, it is said that the scientists believe that that was a reason the dinosaurs became extinct. But now, here we will look at certain reasons which are in our hands, man made reasons. Why are we responsible for the animals becoming extinct? So, cutting down a forest could be one reason. We are rampantly cutting down the forest in order to build houses, in order to build cities. Okay, so when you cut down the forest, when you hunt animals, now some people, they hunt for fun. Okay, some people, they hunt for the various body parts of the animals. That is, certain parts of the animals are very valuable. For example, the tusk of the elephant is very valuable. It is sold in international markets for thousands and thousands of dollars. So people hunt, and when they hunt, these animals become extinct. The rhino, you must have heard about the one horned rhino. So the horns of these rhinos are cut. Now, I could have shown you pictures, but I felt that they are very disturbing. That is the reason I have not shown you pictures of animals being hunted. So just understand that when people hunt animals for fun, they hunt animals as a sport, okay, and they hunt animals for their body parts, like for example the fur, the tusk, the tooth, etc. That time these particular kinds of animals, they become extinct. Okay, you will also see that when people cut down forests to build houses, now the human population is continuously booming. Okay, the number of people being born on this earth is increasing day by day, and the number of people dying have become less because of the development in medicines and the development of science and technology. So, what is happening? We need more space to live, we need more space to have cultivation. So, what are we doing? We are cutting down the forest. Now, you will see that when you cut down the forest, this is the home of these animals, and then they start vanishing. Okay, they start dying because of reasons like they do not get food to eat, etc. This is one reason. Another reason could be when roads are built. Okay, now I have seen it with my own eyes. When roads are constructed, sometimes in the mornings when you walk on the road, you will see dead snakes lying on the road. These poor creatures, they do not know that now this is a road, and they try to cross the road, and they are trampled or they are crushed by the moving vehicles. So these are the reasons, some of the reasons you can say animals become extinct. There are some more reasons. Let's see. One of the major reasons is pollution. Pollution of the air, pollution of the water. Because of this, the animals die. Oil spills happen. You must have seen oil spills happening. That is from big ships which carry oil. Sometimes there is a leakage, and this oil forms a cover on the face or on the surface of the ocean, because of which oxygen is not able to enter in, and the animals die. And the animals also die because of situations like this. They are not able to breathe. Look at this poor creature. It is covered with oil and slush. Okay, so this could also be a reason. See, we human beings have become so insensitive to these animals, and that is the reason that these animals are continuously becoming endangered. And then we have the situation of acid rains. Because of too much of pollution, we have acid coming down from the clouds in the form of rain, and these poor creatures, they die. So these are the various reasons, you can say, children, for these animals becoming endangered. Now, in this particular lesson, we are going to learn about these beautiful sea turtles, which are also endangered, and we will try to understand the gist of the lesson or the summary of the lesson by trying to discuss the points which are there in your lesson. Later on, we will do some language study part in your lesson also. So let us see what this lesson tells you about the true story of sea turtles. So can you see these beautiful creatures? They are the creatures which live on the sea. They are amphibians, children, so they can live in the sea as well as they can live on land. And these creatures, the sea turtles, they are found all over the coastline of Maharashtra. So along the entire coastline of Maharashtra, you will be able to see these sea turtles, which are now part of the list of endangered species. Now these sea turtles, they come out onto the sand to lay eggs. Okay, they swim in the water and they live in the water, but they come out onto the beaches to lay eggs. Okay, so they lay eggs in the sand without realizing that people have got an eye on their eggs. As soon as they lay the eggs, what happens is these egg hunters, they dig up the eggs and they steal the eggs. So they make a nest in the soil, they dig the soil, they make a nest, they lay eggs and they cover the eggs to protect the eggs. They cover them and they make a kind of a nest for their babies. But what happens is we have these egg hunters who are always on the search. They're always on the move to find out and dig up the nest and to steal the eggs. So you must be wondering what they do to these eggs. So the same thing that we do with the eggs of chicken, they are either eaten or they are sold in the market. So some of the local people, some of the people who live along the sea coast, the local public, they do not understand the value of these eggs. They do not understand the value of these creatures. They do not know that these creatures are endangered. So they might just cook the eggs and eat them. People who know the value of these eggs, people who know that people might pay money for these eggs, they take it and they sell it in the market. Okay, so what happens? The poor turtle, it loses all its babies, so the next generation of turtles will not be born, and slowly they will become endangered like they are right now. If we do not protect them, very soon they will become extinct. However, in India, sea turtles have been protected and they are given a status of Schedule 1 animal of the Indian Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. So the Indian government has understood, it has realized that these animals, they have to be protected. So when an animal is protected under this particular act and you try to harm it, you will be punished. Okay, you will be even sent to jail and you will not get bail also. So India has recognized that very soon these animals will be endangered and extinct. So we have given them protection. And turtles have been given as much protection as tigers. So there are certain movements like Save the Tiger movement. So in the same way, we have many movements which have come up in order to save the turtles also. So turtles are also as important as tigers, says the government of India. Now there are various types of turtles which are found in our seas. Okay, and out in the entire world, if you see, there are 7 types of turtles, out of which 5 types are found in India. So it is the olive ridley turtle. See this one. Can you see here? See my arrow? See this arrow moving on the screen? So this is the olive ridley turtles which are found along the entire coastline of Maharashtra. And you also have the green turtle. Can you see this? This is the green turtle. This kind of turtle also we find in Maharashtra. And the hawksbill turtle. Can you see? They're so beautiful, isn't it? So these are the different kind of turtles, out of which these 3, the olive ridley, the green turtle and the hawksbill turtle are found in Maharashtra. Okay. Now the baby turtles, which are not allowed to hatch, they are called as hatchlings. Okay. Now, what have people done in order to save these turtles? Now, like I told you, many villagers, many people who live along the coastline, they're ignorant. They do not know that these animals are important for the nature, for the ecosystem. So, what have they done? They have organized various kind of festivals, various kind of events where people will be told, people will be given knowledge about why and how they are supposed to protect these animals. So, we have the Veras Turtle Festival. Okay, there's this place where they have this turtle festival. So can you see, when you go to a place like Mahabaleshwar, you have strawberry festivals over there. In the same way, in this place called Veras, they have a turtle festival. Here, people or tourists, they visit this place. The advertisement is done through the internet and through various mediums about the dates. And here people come and visit these places. See how they are being shown. People are given a chance to see how these turtles live, how they flourish, how they lay eggs, and also the importance of these turtles are told to the people. They are taught about the importance and about the protection of these turtles. Okay, see, people are demonstration is given about how these turtles live, what is their life like, and why they are important to our ecosystem and why we should protect them. There are various groups like this, children. There is one more group called as the Sahyadri Nisarga Mitra group. Okay, they also have their own small programs and small workshops in order to educate people about these turtles. So can you see here, it's written in Marathi, Kasvanche Ghar, Kasvanche Rakshan Kara. Okay, Sahyadri Nisarga Mitra. So these are all organizations, they are non-government organizations. They have come up in the local area in order to protect these particular species. All right, children, so this was about the lesson. So as students now, you know that there are many species of animals which are endangered. We have to protect them. Even otherwise, children, remember, God has made this planet for all living things. Okay, it doesn't belong to us human beings alone. It belongs to all the creation of God. We have learned a lesson of a poem called Worm in 8th standard, if you know. And there in that poem, we have seen how all kinds of animals, whether it is a tiny earthworm to an ant or even to a big sized animal like an elephant, all these animals are as important as human beings. So we should try to protect, nurture our environment and our ecosystem, because we are all dependent on each other. If one of the you can say components vanish, slowly all the other components will also start vanishing, and life on earth will become very difficult or unmanageable for us human beings. Okay, so this was about the lesson. Now what you can do is, you know the main points of the lesson. Now you can read the lesson once, keep a dictionary with you so that whenever you come across a difficult word, you can always go back to the dictionary and check it and verify the meaning. Alright children, so this was about the story of the lesson. Now let us move on and let us talk a little bit about the language study part or the grammar in this particular lesson. So you see, this is the grammar point in this particular lesson. You are supposed to talk about clause and sentence. Okay, so let us first understand what clauses. Let us try to understand what sentences are. Alright, we will not talk about types of sentences in this lesson. Then they have given you the exercise where you're supposed to underline the main clause in the following sentence. So later on we will first try to understand what is clause, what is sentence, and then we will go and understand what is the meaning of main clause, and we will try to underline and do this exercise later. So come on, let's try to see what is the meaning of a clause. So what is a clause? A clause is a group of words or a group of related words that contains a subject as well as a verb, and it expresses a complete thought. A clause is the building block of a sentence. So just like walls are made up of bricks, so a sentence is made up of clauses. So it is a group of related words. Related words means not senseless words but related words, and it contains a subject as well as a verb, and it expresses a complete thought. Okay, when I show you examples you will understand better. So a subject plus a verb. A verb can also be called as a predicate. We have learnt all this before. We are just doing a kind of a revision thing again. Subject plus verb. When there is a subject and there is a verb along with the subject, you have a complete thought. A complete thought means a meaningful sentence. Okay? A group of words which gives you some kind of meaning, which gives you complete meaning. For example, see here, I eat bananas is complete thought. I is the subject, eat is the verb. Alright? Bananas is the object. When it is used here, when you say I eat bananas, it is a complete thought. Let us look at one more expression of complete thought. Sharon speaks loudly. This again is a complete thought. Okay, we are talking about this girl Sharon. She's a subject and she speaks. How? She speaks loudly, but it is a complete thought. You understood that I eat bananas. What do I eat? I eat bananas. And Sharon, what does she do? She speaks loudly. So you need not have any more explanation for this. It is a complete thought in itself. So now when you talk about clauses, there are two types of clauses. One is the main clause and the other one is the subordinate clause. Now this is the part of our exercise that they have given us. They've asked us to underline the main clause, isn't it? So let us see what the meaning of main clause and the meaning of subordinate clauses are. So a main clause can also be called as an independent clause. Independent means free, not dependent on anyone else. Whereas a subordinate clause is called as a dependent clause. It is dependent on something. What is it dependent on and why the main clause is independent? Let us see now. So see, Sam danced gracefully even with a back injury. Now this is a sentence. Sam danced gracefully even with a back injury. In this, look at the sentence which is written in red. Sam danced gracefully. So, like we said, I eat bananas. It was a complete thought. So, Sam danced gracefully. Is it a complete thought too? Yes, it is. So, that means it is the main clause. So, the main clause is independent. Okay, it gives you the complete idea. It is not dependent on the second part of the sentence. Look at the second part of the sentence written in green. Even with a back injury. So we are talking about Sam in the second part of the sentence. But if the first part of the sentence is removed, the second part of the sentence does not have any meaning. What is the meaning of even with a back injury? Does it have any meaning? No. It is totally dependent on Sam danced gracefully. When you read both of them together, only then the second part of the sentence has meaning. That is why it is called as a dependent clause, because it is dependent on the main clause. So it is called as the subordinate clause. Okay, let us look at the meaning once again. So a main clause makes sense and is grammatically correct as a sentence, whereas a subordinate clause is not a grammatically correct sentence by itself and it requires the main clause to complete its meaning. So without the main clause, the subordinate clause is of no use to us. That is why it is called dependent clause. So children, now I hope you understood what is the meaning of a main clause and what is the meaning of a subordinate clause. Of course, I will give you some more examples. Let us look at some more examples here. But before that, let us say independent clauses can also be called as sentences. Okay, so now in this lesson, in the particular exercise, we had to talk about sentences and clauses. So see, they are somewhere interdependent, isn't it? They are all rolled into one. So independent clauses can also be called as sentences. They contain a subject, a verb, and express complete meaning. And what is the meaning of sentence? Sentences are also a group of words which have got a subject and a verb, and it expresses complete meaning, isn't it? So look here. These are examples of a sentence. Vinan asks me if I can go to have lunch with him. So Vinan asks me is the main clause. If I can go to have lunch with him is the subordinate clause. Okay? Father tells us is the main clause. That he has so much work to do is the subordinate clause. Granny wants to know is the main clause. Where we went on our holiday is the subordinate clause. So you can clearly make out here the main clause is independent. It has also got a complete meaning, so it can also be called as a sentence. So the main clause or the independent clauses can also be called as complete sentences. Okay? So what is a sentence now? Sentences means a sentence is a group of words containing a subject and a verb. And a sentence must make sense. So a main clause can also be called as a sentence because the meaning of both, the definition of both is the same. Okay, children? So that was about what is main clause and what is subordinate clause. Okay? A main clause has got complete meaning and it is independent. That is why it can also be called as a sentence on its own, whereas a subordinate clause is dependent on the main clause for its meaning. Now, this is the most important point. A sentence must make sense. So, just because the main clause makes sense, it can also be called as a sentence. Now, let's come back to exercise and try to solve it. So, we have seen what is clause, we have seen what is sentence. Now, underline the main clause in the following sentences. Look at sentence number 1. There are a few people in every village who keep combing the beach in the early hours of the morning throughout the year. So this is a sentence from your textbook. Who are these people who keep combing the beach in the early hours of the morning throughout the year? They are people who are searching for the eggs of the poor turtles. Okay, so which is the main clause here? You have to underline clauses. Okay, let's underline the main clause here. There are a few people in every village. This is the main clause. Who keep combing the beach in the early hours of the morning throughout the year is the dependent clause. Okay? Look at the second sentence. When the female turtle comes on shore to nest and to lay eggs, she leaves behind a trail just like a track of wheels on the sand. So these people, what they do is they track the footprints of the female turtle and they locate her nest and they steal her eggs. So that is now the point here. We have to find out the main clause. So let us see which is the main clause. She leaves behind a trail just like a track of wheels on the sand. This is the main clause. So remember, children, it is not necessary that the main clause will always be the first part of the sentence. The main clause can also sometimes be the second part of the sentence. So see, she leaves behind a trail just like the tracks of wheel on the sand. This is the main clause. And when the female turtle comes on shore to nest and to lay eggs, this is the subordinate clause. It doesn't have meaning. Okay? Unless and until the second part of the sentence is there, the first part doesn't have any meaning. Look at the third sentence. The egg hunters follow this trail right up to the nest, which is about half a meter deep. So now come on, you try to guess which is the main clause here. Yes, the egg hunters follow this trail right up to the nest is the main clause, which is about half a meter deep is the subordinate clause. So today we talked about the true story of sea turtles, and we also talked about what is a sentence, what is a clause, and what are the two types of clause, and we also tried to identify the main clause in.
So children, wasn't that a wonderful video? And did you enjoy watching it? So if you want to watch more such videos in future, then please like this video and also subscribe to our channel, the MCGM Portal for Education, and also hit the bell button so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video here. Thank you so much for now. Let's meet again soon.